Welcome back, everybody, to the Miami Marlins franchise here on MLB The Show 23. Today we will be kicking off season number 3 of the series. Last episode was the off-season, and in case you missed that episode, I will leave a card at the top right of your screen so you can go ahead and check it out and see what moves we have made to improve the roster as we get ready for the third season of the series. Today we will be going briefly through spring training, taking a look at some intriguing roster battles, and then we'll be going through the early stages of April and the start of the 2025 season. I like the way we've been able to build this core together. We've been able to keep a lot of the current Marlins on the team while adding talent across the board. One of the big spring training storylines will be seeing Woody Landry, the top pick from season 1. He's going to have a real opportunity to make the big league roster at 19 years old. So as I simulated through spring training, Sixto Sanchez fractured his arm. He's going to be out for a month or two. He wasn't playing all that well before he got hurt, so I don't think this really affects his standing on the roster, but it is unfortunate. We would finish spring training with a record of 12-13 as we go through the numbers. Woody Landry was solid at 250 with 3 homers. Other notable performers include Ryan Poles, Travis Swaggerty, Gerard Encarnacion, and Khalil Watson as young guys who performed well. And a lot of the regular everyday position players were also pretty good too. As for the pitching, the notable battles were for the final spots in the rotation. They will go to Trevor Rogers, Jesus Luzardo, and Yuri Perez. So the rotation will start the exact same that it ended off last year. Braxton Garrett will go to the bullpen, and the other candidates will go to the minor leagues. So not really many surprises in terms of the pitching. I would have liked to have seen more Sixto Sanchez, but obviously he got injured. There's not a whole lot we can really do there. Once he comes back, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to have him on the big league team or in the minors. All of our relievers will stay. We're going to have 7 relievers in the bullpen, plus Braxton Garrett. Ryan Poles, the third-round pick out of Hofstra, was pretty good, but we're going to send him down. And obviously Woody Landry, he's an interesting one. I thought about it for a little bit, but I have decided that we will keep him on the opening day roster. I think he's ready. I think he's earned it, and he will be an opening day starter here for the Marlins. Jacob Berry's an interesting one. He did not play all that well, but he did play decently down the stretch last year in the big league, so while his leash might be short, he will have a leash. Taylor Trammell was a tricky one. He did play really well down the stretch last year in the majors, but I decided to send him down. Gerard Encarnacion was really good in spring training, but I had to send him down as well. So this is going to be our 26-man roster going into the season. Obviously, much of it is subject to change based on performance, injuries, and other roster moves. So this is what the lineups will look like to start off the season. This is what we'll be rolling with against righties. Woody Landry will hit 5th. The rest of the lineup will feature the regular starters: Arise, De La Cruz, Chisholm, Fortes, Santander, Sanchez, Berry, and then Lux. And then against lefties, pretty similar. Woody will hit 6th. Instead of Jesus Sanchez playing, we will have Trey Mancini. I want to get Sanchez more reps against lefties, but he's just not really good against lefties at this point. There's a look at the rotation and the bullpen. Jordan Hicks was the closer last year. This year he'll be a middle reliever. I think this is more of his role, even though he was really good as the closer. Duvall and Alcala will be the setup guys, and then Liam Hendricks will be the closer. I'm really excited about Duvall and Hendricks as the 8th and 9th inning guys. I think that duo could end up being really fun. So our season opener will be at the Oakland Coliseum against the Oakland A's. Surprisingly, they are not the worst team in the league currently. That is the Colorado Rockies. The A's, meanwhile, are 29th. They signed Tyler O'Neill in the offseason, but the rest of the team is not very good. The ace of their staff is Shintaro Fujinami, who through 2 seasons, I mean, the numbers kind of speak for themselves here. He has not been pretty good. He's been maybe the worst starting pitcher in baseball, let alone ace. So on paper, the Marlins are obviously a lot better than Oakland, but especially in the MLB, you don't want to undermine your competition. Teams get hot. It's the start of the year. We've got a lot of young guys in the lineup, so I mean, it could be a rough patch early in the season if certain players don't start off super hot. So let's get Season 3 started here in Oakland. It is a surprisingly packed house here at the Coliseum, with the Oakland Athletics announcing that they will not be moving and staying in Oakland. The fan base has shown up to support their team, even if they are awful. Here's a look at the projections for the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm projected to lead in most statistics. He probably will still be the best player in the lineup, as he pretty much has been over the past couple of years, although you can argue Nick Fortes was a little bit better last year. Can't really go wrong either way. We've got a bunch of really special players on this team. I'm excited to see how Jazz and Fortes are going to continue to progress as stars, along with all these young guys, particularly Woody Landry, who will be making his big league debut, batting fifth and playing first base for the Marlins. He'll be wearing number 23 for the team. Shintaro Fujinami there on the mound as we look at both lineups. The A's have a couple players making their big league debuts with Joey Loperfido and Henry Bolts. So here is Shintaro Fujinami, the native of Japan, in his third major league season. His first two seasons have been nothing short of a complete disaster. I'm really surprised that the A's have held on to him, but we'll see what he can do here in year 3. And he would retire the side here in the first. Jazz Chisholm grounds out over to first base. Quick play by Oakland. Good start for Fujinami. So now we will get a look at the ace of the Marlins staff, and that is, of course, none other than Sandy Alcantara, who will be starting on opening day once again. Sandy is one of the best in the business. Even last year, he struggled through the first couple of months of the year, but really once we got into June, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. 2.9 ERA, sub-1 whip on the season as he faces off against Joey Loperfido in his first big league at bat, and he draws a walk. Not a bad start for the rookie. So that'll bring up Tyler Soderstrom with 2 away, probably the best long-term piece in the A's organization. Hits it well into right center, but Jesus Sanchez will come down with it. Good inning for Sandy. Neither team with a hit here in the opening inning. No score as well. We'll see if either team can get some offense going here in the second. Woody Landry is second due up for the Marlins. Nick Fortes leads things off, and he singles into left. Fortes' development in this series has been really fun. He's won the stud of the year in both seasons 1 and 2. And if he keeps up his 1,000 batting average, he should be able to win it again here in season 3. All right, here's Woody Landry making his big league debut. Something you may notice is that we have changed his batting stance. In the minor leagues, if you look at his right foot, he always had his foot kind of poked in. I don't think that's really going to help him out. He's very clearly comfortable when he's bent down, but I think we need to reposition his footing. So he's going to be positioning his foot more on a straight line rather than in. I think that'll really help him get the best out of his swing. Full count, he pops this one into center. He hit that one well considering it was topped, but it will be caught. Nonetheless, not a bad at bat. He was able to work the count. Not a bad start to the rookie, even if his first at bat only results in a flyout. Anthony Santander is up next. He was signed in the offseason from the Baltimore Orioles, and he lines this one into left, and that'll go for a hit. So the Marlins now have 2 aboard with 1 away. We'll see if the back end of the lineup can drive these guys in and put Miami on the board. With 2 away, it's Jacob Berry in his first full big league season. He was with the majors in the final 2 months of last year as he pops this one into foul territory. Third baseman chasing after it, and he makes the catch! Zach Geloff with an unbelievably impressive grab to end the inning. Not only is that a sick catch, but it potentially saves multiple runs from being scored. If that ball had dropped, it would have been foul, but it also would have kept the at-bat alive. So now that'll bring us to the bottom of the second. Yu Chang is up for the A's as he grounds this one, and Luis Arraez makes an incredible play for the out. We are being presented with some great defense. First, Zach Geloff for the A's. Now Luis Arraez. I don't know which one of those plays was better. Let me know down below in the comments. Both of them were incredible. 2 away now for Lawrence Butler, and he strikes out on the fastball. Good start for Sandy Alcantara to kick off his age 29 season as he retires the side, and that'll bring us into the third. Gavin Lux leads things off. He was acquired at the trade deadline last year from the Dodgers. He will draw a walk, so that'll get the Marlins an early base runner. The weakness with Shintaro Fujinami is that he throws way too many walks. That'll bring up Luis Arraez, and he draws a walk as well. The Marlins with good discipline to start this inning as they've got 2 early base runners aboard. And that'll bring up Brian De La Cruz, Miami's lone representative in the All-Star game last year. Hits this one sharply in the left. That'll go for a hit. And with nobody out, the bases are loaded. I will say the Marlins historically in this series have really struggled when the bases are loaded. But with nobody out, they've got to drive these guys in. Jazz Chisholm grounds it to short. The A's get the out at second, but they won't get Jazz at first. Gavin Lux scores, and it's 1-0. Unfortunately, as Brian De La Cruz slid into second, he hurt his knee. Thankfully, it won't be a serious injury, but he'll be taken out of the game for precaution, and Charles LeBlanc will replace him out in left field. So the Marlins do score, and they avoid the double play. And so now there's 2 runners on the corners and 1 away for Nick Fortes, who got a base hit in his last at-bat. This time he pops this one up high into right. It is caught. Luis Arias originally heads home, but then he wisely will return to third. So now there's runners on the corners and 2 away for the new kid on the block, Woody Landry. What an opportunity for the rookie first baseman with runners on the corners. He hits this one high and pretty deep into center field, but it will be caught. The Marlins started the inning with the bases loaded, and they drive in 1. Feels like they could have done more, but at least they're on the board. Bottom of the third, Willie Castro, the veteran infielder, strikes out. Good start for Sandy Alcantara, who still is not allowed a hit so far. That'll bring us back to the top of the order. Zach Geloff hits this one high and somewhat deep into left center, but Jazz will make the play. 3 innings, just 1 base runner, and no hits allowed so far for Sandy. I get it's the Oakland A's, and their lineup isn't all that good, but it is nice to see Sandy get off to a strong start. Into the 4th, Shintaro Fujinami making his way through the inning nicely as Berry hits this one high into right, and it is in foul territory and caught. Outside of the 3rd inning, Shintaro Fujinami has played pretty well today, especially considering he hasn't been all that good so far in his big league career. Bottom 4, Soderstrom sends it into foul territory. LeBlanc makes the play, and Alcantara retires the side. Both teams with 1, 2, 3 innings here in the 4th. Still no hits for the Oakland A's as the Marlins hold on to their lead 1-0. Shintaro Fujinami's at around 100 pitches. He's honestly been pretty good today as he faces off against Luis Arias, who hits this one well into right field, and that one will bounce in front of the wall. It looked like it almost dropped foul. It also almost went over the fence. Instead, it'll be a double. So with 1 away, the Marlins have a runner in scoring position. We'll see if they can drive him in and extend the lead. That'll bring up Jazz Chisholm with 2 away. Jazz is one of the best clutch hitters in baseball, and he's got a hitter's friendly count, but he weakly grounds this one over to first. He'll flip it to Fujinami, and that'll make it through the 5th. Still 1-0. It has been a pitcher's duel between Sandy and Fujinami. We'll see if the Oakland Athletics can finally get a hit here in the bottom of the 5th as Yu Chang strikes out on the slider to start things off. 2 away now for Lawrence Butler. He pops this one. Sandy should be able to make the play. He's having trouble locating the ball, but he will come down with it. 5 no-hit innings for Sandy Alcantara, who still has only allowed 1 base runner. That was the walk all the way back in the bottom of the 1st inning. So the Oakland A's will make a pitching change as the lefty Ken Waldichuk will come into the game. His numbers throughout his career are not much better than Fujinami's. We'll see if he can have a good performance here out of the bullpen like Fujinami. Nick Fortes leads things off here. He's got a 2-2 count, and he hits this one sharply into right field, and that one will go and 1 hop off the wall. Fortes will make his way over to second base, and the Marlins start the inning with a double. So they've got an early runner in scoring position and a nice opportunity for Woody Landry to potentially drive in a run. Lefty on lefty. Woody is pretty good against lefties as he hits it sharply, but it is caught at second. It's been an uneventful debut for Woody. He's 0 for 3 so far. We'll see if the Marlins can drive in Fortes as that'll bring up Anthony Santander. Tony Taters hits this one into right center field, and that one's going to drop in the gap. Fortes will score with no problem, and Santander will waltz his way over to second with a double, and the Miami Marlins take a 2-0 lead. Great swing from Santander, driving in a run here in his Marlins debut, as that'll bring up Jesus Sanchez. So far 0 for 2, he's been pretty quiet as he goes down on the slider. Little lefty on lefty crime. Again, Sanchez really not all that good against left-handed pitching. Jacob Berry rips this one up the middle. That'll go for a hit. Runner's going to look to head home. The throw from center is a good one, but just not in time. RBI single for Jacob Berry, and Miami now leads it 3-0. The A's will make another pitching change. Waldichuk won't make it through the inning. He'll be replaced by Brendan McKay, whose numbers also don't look very good. McKay, once upon a time, was a high draft pick, a 2-way star from high school, and obviously things really have not worked out with him. Gavin Lux rips this one into the gap. That one's going to make it all the way to the wall, and Berry's got a great opportunity to score, and it looks like he will. Jacob Berry with a round tripper from first, as it's an RBI double for Gavin Lux, and the Marlins now lead it 4-0. Miami with 3 runs in the 6th. We'll see if they can add some more as Luis Arias flies this one into shallow left. It will be caught, but still a very strong inning as Miami drives in 3, building themselves a nice 4-0 lead. The A's are still without a hit today. We'll see if this is the inning where they can change that. 2 away for Zach Geloff. Grounds it to short. Lux makes the play. And now we can really start to talk about the idea of the potential no-hitter. Sandy Alcantara has made it through 6 innings with allowing 1. He's got 3 more left in the tank. Can he do it? The Marlins still lead it 4-0 as we go into the 7th. 2 away for the catcher, Nick Fortes. He strikes out. Good inning from Brendan McKay, as it'll remain a 4-0 game. Into the bottom of the 7th now, Joey Loperfido leads it off for Oakland, and he strikes out on the slider. Sandy looks unstoppable. I'm not sure how the A's would be able to get a hit off of him. That'll bring up Tyler O'Neill, signed a 4-year deal for nearly $50 million in the offseason. Hits this one into right center. That'll go for a hit. It's because of the shift. If Miami didn't play the shift, they probably would have got him out. So now O'Neill's on first, 2 away, 1-2 for Yu Chang, and he's going to ground this one down the line. Berry can't make the play. That'll go for a hit. Tyler O'Neill on his high horse. He's going to look to make it home, and he's going to be safe. The A's figure, what do they have to lose? What a display of base running by Tyler O'Neill. It's an RBI double for Yu Chang, making it 4-1. Henry Bolt grounds it to short. Lux should be able to make the play, but the A's kill the no-hitter and the shutout with an RBI double from Yu Chang. Into the 8th inning now. Woody Landry leads it off for the Marlins. He's 0 for 3, probably his final at-bat of his debut. Grounds it over to short, and Woody is now 0 for 4. Quiet debut for Woody. He had some pretty good swings. He looked confident at the plate. He ran some good counts, but doesn't get any hits in his big league debut unless he gets another at-bat, which is kind of unlikely, but maybe the Marlins get hot. And I suppose this is a good start. Anthony Santander hits it into the right field corner. He will make it over to second with a double. While Woody has not had a great Marlins debut, Santander has. He's got 3 hits. He has 2 doubles and an RBI. So the Marlins are ahead 4-1. Jesus Sanchez up now, strikes out again. The lefty-on-lefty crime continuing to be a factor. Jacob Berry now up for Miami. He's got a full count. Hits this one well, and that'll go for a hit. Runner will hold up at third. I think the Marlins certainly thought about bringing Santander home, but he certainly would have been out, so it's a smart decision to hold him. So now there's runners on the corners. Nice opportunity for Gavin Lux, who has reached base twice today. Drove in a run in his last at-bat. Overall, pretty productive game for him. He grounds this one over to first, and Oakland will pretty easily make the play. So the Marlins leave runners on the corners, and the score will remain 4-1. Bottom 8, Nick Solak strikes out on the slider. 1-2-3 inning from Sandy. It looks like he could go the entire way. Do the Marlins go to the bullpen, or will they keep him in for the 9th? The A's will go to the bullpen as Austin Pruitt is in. His numbers are actually pretty solid, especially compared to all the other goofballs that the A's have been trotting out today. Jazz Chisholm with 2 away hits it high and pretty deep into center, and it looks like it will be caught. So Oakland knows what they need to do. They've got to score 3 here in the bottom of the 9th. But it's going to be challenging considering they're going to be facing off against Sandy Alcantara, who will remain in the game, looking to get the complete game. The A's have the top of the order due up. We'll see if any of them can get something going. That'll start with Zach Geloff. He's going to try to roll out the drag bunt, and it does not work as Fortes is quickly able to pick it up for out number 1. That'll bring up Joey Loperfido, 2-2. Swinging a miss on the circle change. Sandy's 1 out away from a perfect game as he will face off against Tyler O'Neill at 131 pitches. It's a grounder to third. Berry looks like he'll be able to make the play, and that is your ball game. The Miami Marlins win it here on opening day, 4-1 against Oakland Athletics. In this series, we are 3-0 on opening day. Pretty exciting to keep the streak going. Good win all around. The offense was fine. I mean, we got hits, we got runs. Can't really ask for too much more. Obviously, Sandy Alcantara was really the star of this show, going the entire way, only allowing 3 base runners and 1 run. He had a no-hitter going into the 7th. He was electric. Nobody really stood out on offense. I guess Anthony Santander going 3 for 4, driving in a run. It was really good to see him playing well. We had a few extra base hits, but no home runs from either team. And obviously the A's really could not hit the ball. Oakland only won 50 games last year, and it could be even worse for them this year. Might be a long season in Oakland if they don't get their act together, because that roster is not the best. So a good win here for the Marlins. Brian De La Cruz is officially diagnosed with a knee sprain. He'll probably be out for the rest of the series, but again, it's not a major injury. We're going to simulate to our home opener now against St. Louis, so we're going to get through the series against Oakland and then Baltimore. We would end up going 3-3. Would have liked to have done a little bit better. But we do have this game against the A's that we won 20-1. Not too bad. We had 8 homers as a team. Luis Arraez and Jazz Chisholm went deep twice. Every single player got at least 1 hit. Every single player had at least 1 RBI, and every single player had at least 1 run. Jazz drove in 6 runs, and Trevor Rogers actually had a really good performance on the mound. So that'll bring us to our home opener. We're 3-3, hosting the 2-4 St. Louis Cardinals. We've got the roof closed for this one as the Marlins look to start their home campaign off strong. Miami won 2-3 in Oakland and then lost 2-3 in Baltimore to start off the season. In terms of performances, Woody Landry has been okay so far. No homers. He does have some hits. He's driven in a couple runs, but really nothing spectacular. Some guys who are playing well. Nick Fortes has been good. Jazz Chisholm has been good. Anthony Santander has been a very productive signing. The bullpen's really good. Some starters have had really good games like Sandy and Trevor Rogers. Others not so much. Edward Cabrera had a pretty disappointing first start. We're going to get a look at him today. Luzardo and Perez didn't necessarily light the world on fire in their first starts of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how the team will be able to do here against a quality St. Louis Cardinals team as we take a look at both lineups. On the mound for the Marlins will be Edward Cabrera. His first start against Oakland was not a particularly good one. He allowed 4 runs in the loss, 10 base runners in just 5 innings. Certainly not his best work after a phenomenal season last year where his ERA was lower than 3. Tommy Edman lead things off, and he will strike out on the sinker. Good start for Edward Cabrera, who finished in 2nd place for the stud of the year last season, as he will look to retire the side here against Paul Goldschmidt. Liner up the middle. Jazz Chisholm makes the play. Jazz is playing short today, with Gavin Lux getting the day off. Jack Flaherty will be starting for the Cardinals. He has an ERA exactly at 3 and a whip exactly at 1. Pretty good opening start for him, but he did get the loss, although it clearly looks like it wasn't really his fault. Jazz is up for Miami. He's hitting .292. He's hitting for decent power. He's driven on a lot of runs so far, but he strikes out on the low knuckle curve. Both pitchers retire the side as we go into the second. Nolan Gorman starts things off strong for the Cardinals as he rips that one off the wall. Sanchez gets over to it, but Gorman will make it to second with a double, and the Cardinals start the inning with a runner in scoring position. That'll bring up the veteran catcher Wilson Contreras, who strikes out on the circle change. Good pitch by Cabrera. Juan Yepez is up for St. Louis, and he will draw a walk. The best part of Edward Cabrera's game last year is he really did not allow a lot of walks. Anthony Rizzo goes down on the curveball. Make a Cubs fan cry by seeing Anthony Rizzo and Wilson Contreras in Cardinals jerseys. Lars Nootbaar grounds it to Jazz. He flips it over to Luis Arraez, and Cabrera gets out of a little bit of a jam. He let 2 runners on, but nobody will score. Bottom 2, Nick Fortes is up for Miami. He's going to ground this one over to second. Nolan Gorman cannot make the play. They're going to call that a base hit. I feel like Gorman could have made the play there. I feel like it should have been an error, but it'll help Nick Fortes' batting average, so I guess that's cool. Fortes is aboard now for Anthony Santander. He's hitting .346 for the first 6 games of the year as he checks his swing on a pitch that was well inside for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Woody Landry. He's hitting .190 at the moment. Obviously a small sample size. You don't want to panic, but not ideal. He does single this one into right field, so the Marlins now have 2 runners aboard here with the base hit from the rookie first baseman, Woody Landry. Now Miami's got 2 aboard, just like St. Louis did in the last inning. We'll see if Jesus Sanchez can drive these guys in. The 1-2. Got him looking on the fastball. Flaherty gets through the second. He gets himself out of the jam. And so this game will remain scoreless. Into the third now. Jordan Walker with a leadoff single into center field. The Cardinals again start the inning off of the runner aboard. We'll see if this time they can actually drive him in. That'll bring up Tommy Edman. He's going to get this one past Jazz Chisholm for a hit. The Marlins were playing in. They wanted to get the double play, and that proves to backfire. So now there's 2 aboard for Dylan Carlson, who draws a walk. St. Louis loads the bases to open up the inning. Edward Cabrera is allowing a lot of base runners early, really not looking like himself, as Goldschmidt draws a walk, and that'll bring in a run. The Cardinals lead 1-0. Bases remain loaded. Nolan Gorman will then fly it into left field, deep into left, Anthony Santander will come down to it. 1 run scores, another run will advance to third, and so it's now 2-0 with runners on the corners. The Marlins really got to hope for a ground ball here, as it's Wilson Contreras who strikes out on the circle change. Hey, that works too. So now there's 2 away, runners on the corners for Juan Yepes, who goes down looking. I don't know what he was waiting for. That's as good of the pitch as he's going to get. Not a very good inning, though, for Cabrera as the Cardinals drive in 2, but I suppose it could have been worse. Bottom 3, De La Cruz gets plunked on the slider. So Brian De La Cruz is aboard. That'll bring up Jazz Chisholm here with 2 away. The Marlins offense hasn't gotten a whole lot going other than those couple of hits in the second inning as Jazz swings out of his shoes. I think he got hit on the foot on that pitch, but he swung. And so that'll end the inning. Still 2-0 going into the 4th as Anthony Rizzo, the Riz God, singles into center. Arise can't make the play. That's another leadoff base runner for the Cardinals. 3 consecutive innings where they've started off the inning with a hit. And it's not going to matter because Lars Nootbaar grounds into a 5-4-3 double play. Good job by the defense. Don't want to allow too many base runners early on, just like the 3rd inning where the Cardinals scored 2. Jordan Walker is now up, and he's going to hit this one past the glove of Luis Arraez for a hit. Edward Cabrera is really getting rocked. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to stay in the game as Tommy Edman is now up 1-1. Edman singles into right. The Cardinals with another 3-hit inning. You got to assume the leash on Cabrera is really low. Can he make it out of the 4th? Full count for Dylan Carlson. Flies this one into left. Santander should make the play, and he will. So the Cardinals don't drive anybody in. They've left a lot of guys on bases so far. I think that'll probably wrap up Edward Cabrera's day. I know he only allowed 2 runs, but really not his best outing as the Cardinals still lead this one 2-0. Bottom 4, Nick Fortes leads things off. He got a base hit in his last at-bat. We'll see what he can do here as he goes down on the cutter. He was chasing that pitch too. Great one from Jack Flaherty. Woody Landry's up now, base hit in his last at-bat. And Woody Landry strikes out on the fastball. What a great start for Flaherty, who's made it through 4 scoreless, and the Cardinals still lead it 2-0. And in the 5th now, we will get a look at the submarine throwing lefty, Adonis Takadopoulos, who checks in out of the bullpen for the Marlins. He's pitched in 1 inning so far this season and has allowed a run, so hopefully this inning ends up going a little bit better. That will bring up Paul Goldschmidt, who grounds it to 3rd. Barry deflects it, but the throw to 1st is not in time. I think that's now 4 straight innings where the Cardinals have led off the inning with a hit. Nolan Gorman, the very next batter, singles in to right. So maybe it wasn't an Edward Cabrera thing. Maybe it's just that the Cardinals' offense right now is on fire. With 1 away, Juan Yepes grounds it to 3rd, and the Marlins will turn 2, and they will make it out of the 5th. Great job by Miami to get out of another jam, and the Cardinals continue to leave guys on base. Meanwhile, the Marlins continue to not get guys on base. Jesus Sanchez is up. He thinks he draws a walk, but the umpire behind the plate says otherwise, and they will call him for strike 3. Flaherty with his 8th K of the day. That'll bring up Trey Mancini, the designated hitter, who pops this one up over to 1st. Goldschmidt makes the play, and it remains 2-0. The Marlins still have just 2 hits today. The offense has been an utter train wreck. But the Cardinals are leaving so many guys on, they're staying in the game. A.J. Puck is in here for the 6th inning. He will face off against Anthony Rizzo, who strikes out. Finally, the leadoff man doesn't get on base. First time since like the 1st inning. With 2 away, Walker grounds it to 3rd. Barry with a great play, and he will make the throw over to 1st. 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Puck out of the bullpen. As the score remains 2-0, top of the order due up for Miami. Can this be the inning where they get something going? 2 away for Jazz Chisholm, who crushes this one into straightaway center field with the bat flip. Solo homer for Jazz, and the Marlins are finally on the board as it is now 2-1. Jazz with his 3rd homer of the season. His first 2 both came in the 20-1 win against the Oakland Athletics. 430 feet. That ball went a long way. No doubter off the bat. Sick bat flip as well. As Jazz Chisholm will Euro step into home plate. And the Marlins are finally on the board. Their first hit since the 2nd inning. And their first run of the entire game. We'll see if they can add any more. Nick Fortes grounds it over to short. The Cardinals will make the play pretty easily. But not a horrible inning. Miami finally gets on the board with a solo homer from Jazz Chisholm. And it is now a 2-1 ball game. The Marlins are back in it, and things could get interesting. Jorge Alcala enters the game out of the bullpen, making his season debut. Last year, in just 2 2/3 innings, he allowed a pair of runs as Tommy Edman singles into left. Another leadoff base runner for the Cardinals. I think that's 5 now. 5 innings where they've led off the inning with a base hit. They've only gotten to score one of those guys, and that trend will continue here in the 7th. Edman is gunned down going to second. Nick Fortes got him behind the dish. Part-time ball player, full-time sniper. Let's look at this one again. Tommy Edman is ridiculously fast, going over 20 miles an hour, but a great throw from Fortes and a super quick tag from Jazz Chisholm. He had to get that glove down immediately, and he does perfectly. 2 away for Goldschmidt. He singles into left. Another hit for the Cardinals. They just keep on getting hits, and they just can't drive these guys in. I don't know what it is. Nolan Gorman weakly hits this one to the pitcher. Alcala makes the play, and the Marlins, despite allowing 2 more hits, get out of another inning without allowing runs. Miami's still in it as it's 2-1. The Marlins with only 3 hits, though, but they did hit the homer in the last inning as the Cardinals will go to the bullpen. Matt Wisler is in for St. Louis. He's allowed to run so far in an inning of play as Woody Landry strikes out for a second time today. This time he goes down on the slider. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Jacob Berry, who launches this one into right field, and we are tied. An all-time bat flip as well from Berry as it goes into the second deck, and we're knotted up at 2. 427 feet. Jacob Berry's first homer of the season. So the Marlins, who had nothing going on offense, hit a pair of homers, Jazz in the 6th, and now Berry here in the 7th. And both of these homers were no doubters. Jazz Chisholm's went like 430. This one goes 427 into the second deck. What a play. Jesus Sanchez draws a walk. Nearly went down looking again, but this time he gets the call. So Sanchez is aboard. That'll bring up Gavin Lux, who enters the game off the bench, replacing Trey Mancini. He strikes out on the slider, but again, not a bad inning as the Marlins score another run off the homer by Jacob Berry. And we got to look at this majestic bat flip again. That's like Jose Bautista level of bat flipping from Jacob Berry with authority, letting that bat go down. So we are knotted up at 2 going into the 8th inning as the Marlins will bring Camilo Doval into the game for his Miami Marlin debut. Doval really struggled with the San Francisco Giants last year, hence the Giants trading him to Miami. We'll see what he can do here as Wilson Contreras singles into left. Another leadoff runner for St. Louis. They keep starting these innings with base runners. It's only a matter of time until they actually get these guys to, score. The Cardinals are going to bring in a pinch runner. It's Brown as Juan Yepes draws a walk, and the Cardinals have 2 aboard. Anthony Rizzo also draws a walk, and St. Louis will open up the inning with the bases loaded. Not a great start for Camilo Doval in his Marlins debut. He does strike out Lars Nootbaar, so now things get interesting. Bases still loaded, 1 away for Jordan Walker, who puts it on the ground. Chisholm to a rise to Landry. The Marlins get out of the inning. The Cardinals started the inning with the bases loaded, and they drive in nobody. Great job by Doval and the defense to get out of the inning as it remains tied at 2. The Cardinals are just having so much trouble driving these guys in. Zach Thompson will enter now out of the bullpen for St. Louis. He's not allowed to run in 4 innings of play so far, as the Marlins will have the top of the order up. That starts with Luis Arraez, and he went around for strike 3. And so now there's 2 away for Jazz Chisholm, who homered in his last at-bat to get the scoring started. 1-2 pitch. Chisholm hits this one high and pretty deep into right center field. Back at the track, at the wall, it is gone! Solo home run for Jazz Chisholm, his 4th of the year, his 2nd of the ball game, and the Miami Marlins have taken the lead. It's now 3-2. Miami had nothing going in the early portion of this game, but the power has come alive late. Homer by Chisholm in the 6th. Homer by Berry in the 7th. And another one here from Jazz Chisholm to put the Marlins ahead 3-2. Fortes goes looking. That'll wrap up the 8th. Again, not a bad inning. Miami drives in a run. Jazz Chisholm with his 2nd homer of the game. And now Liam Hendricks, the closer, will come into the game making his Marlins debut as well. Looking to finish things off and get the save. He'll start with Tommy Edman. Got him looking on the slider. If the Cardinals can't score when they get leadoff runners on, there's no way they're going to be able to score when they don't get the leadoff guy on, right? Carlson lines it to first. Good play by Woody Landry for the second out of the inning. It comes down to Paul Goldschmidt. Grounder to third. Jacob Berry makes the play. Got him! Ball game over. The Marlins win it 3-2. What a game. What a weird game. It did not start off great. The offense had nothing going through 5 innings, but we came alive late with a trio of homers from Jazz, Berry, and Jazz again. The Cardinals had so many base runners. 11 walks, 5 hits. That's 16 base runners, and they only hit 2 runs. Jack Flaherty was awesome on the mound, but the offense wasn't clutch, and the bullpen ultimately blew it. As for us, we did not hit the ball well. Jazz Chisholm obviously had 2 big homers. Jacob Berry went deep as well, but other than that, no one really hit the ball well. Edward Cabrera was not great, but I got to give the bullpen credit. They're really the reason why we won this game. This is why I'm investing so much into the bullpen for games like this. So we're going to simulate through the next week and a half. 2 more games against the Cardinals, then the Nationals, then the Cardinals again. As Taylor Trammell would tear his calf, and Victor Mesa Jr. would also tear his calf. So both of those guys are going to be out for an extended period of time, which is certainly unfortunate. I wanted to get Trammell up in the majors pretty soon. So we ended up doing okay in the games that we simulated. We did win 3 of our last 4 against the Cardinals. That's nice after losing the first 2 series. So we're now 8-8. We do have a very good run differential, largely because we scored 20 in the one game. Some guys who are playing well. Jazz Chisholm has been very good this year. He's already driven in 20 runs, 6 homers, hitting over 300. Nick Fortes keeps getting better. I don't know how he's doing it, but he is. Woody Landry's been fine. He's hit 3 homers. It says he's cold, but it seems like he's been pretty good lately. And then Sandy Alcantara, through 4 starts, has been unbelievable. He's thrown 33 innings, which is over 8 innings per start. 2 complete games. He's only allowed 5 runs. He's the NL Cy Young leader. He should be the NL MVP favorite with Nick Fortes there in second. I've been waiting for Fortes to just start playing worse, and it just hasn't happened. He keeps getting better, which is really cool to see. So in the next episode, we're going to get through the month of April. We're also going to take our first look at the draft class in the next episode as well, so that should be a lot of fun. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.